Hey guys, you know, it's been a while since I've put anything out there, and it's not for lack of commitment. It's probably more to do with lack of worthy content. So we've been staying busy here, but really I just haven't been doing anything that I thought was going to be interesting enough. It's been about a year since the last time I did a shop update, so I figured I'd give you one here again and show you what's new in my workshop. So there's been a couple of minor additions here. I have some Stanley Sweetheart chisels, which I love very much. Some mortising chisels that are from Lee Nielsen, and I have a couple of dovetail saws. I've been working a little bit with building some dovetail boxes, and I really like those. I built a cheap and dirty sharpening station here, which slides underneath my little file cabinet there, out of the way, but it's very handy. I like the DMT stones. I got some leather here for stropping the green stuff, or the orange stuff seems to work pretty well. Craig jig has been very useful here recently in our household because we've been building a lot of cabinets. I rearranged the shop a little bit, and I moved the drill press back over here. Just seemed to be a little bit better use of space. Empty pretzels containers. These guys are great for throwing away old t-shirts and whatever and making shop towels out of them. Barbecue cooking aprons, but they seem to do the job. They keep the crap off you. Added some PVC tubes, cut them at various lengths to store dowels, various cutoffs and that, and other small pieces of wood. This is a 16-gallon, they call it a cyclone dust collector. It works on the cyclone effect, and it works very well, but it collects 95% of everything else. I've added a Jessam router lift to my Festool MFT table. Some of you might cringe at the thought of that, but this tabletop is intended to be sacrificial and replaceable, and paired with that underneath is a Bosch model. That's a 2 1/4 horse plunge router with that comes with a fixed base also. Yeah, that router lift is that model 2310. The Bosch 2 1/4 horse plunge router is 1716 EVSPK. Just picked up these plastic tubs at the home center where I keep my clamps and other Festool fixtures. These are in my trade are called ejector pins, but they happen to be 20 millimeter and they fit absolutely perfectly in those holes there. So this is where I keep some of my Festool accessories, and then over here I've got the router accessories and some sanding accessories below that. There's more sandpaper. Floors covered with these Harbor Freight mats, which seem to work very well. I like better doubling them up in thickness because that seems to give me a little bit more cushion. I'm not a little guy. The table saw was here last year, but I did some tune-up. The table saw blade was not necessarily perfectly square to the table saw slots. So I realigned the table, and it was a lot easier than I thought. Another new addition is the gripper, and I love that. That was in a video that I did earlier this year, but that thing works awesome. It's got lots of traction, and I want to get another one. They're not cheap, but they are worth it. Because the table was off, that gave me an opportunity to build a upgraded crosscut sled. Stole a few things I saw in a couple different videos. I really like putting this plexiglass there. It seems to deflect a lot of sawdust and chips and stuff like that because I can't use SawStop's overhead dust collector, and it helps keep that out of your face. And as far as any debris flying up, I also added the Incra track in here, and I've already used that quite a bit with this beast, which I built this when I made my floor register. I just used it again. I was making a frame for a mirror, and so I cut some slots in there that line up with that. Of course, I have to remove this shield. center the blade up in those grooves. This is the most recent investment, I'll call it, is the Grizzly 19-inch bandsaw, and that features cast iron wheels, a resaw fence, and a cast iron T-style fence. It's a 3 horsepower with a motor brake, which is really nice because it shuts that down. It does have the optional roller base that you purchase separately. Occasionally I need to move this back and forth away from the table saw. The reason for that is exactly what it means. I have, when I'm done using the saw and I release the tension arm, I throw that in there just so I won't inadvertently try to start the saw with the tension arm not up. Next is the Grizzly 8-inch joiner, and this is the model G0656P, which stands for the Polar Bear series. That also has the rolling stand on it. And if you notice here, there's some magnetic sign material because of a video I saw with Ron Walters, who used that for his table saw to block up and improve dust collection, and I used that in the same way. That really improved the dust collection. The one thing about this is that I did get a heck of a deal on this. It's brand new. It was at a defective paint job. That's it. I'm ordering some touch-up paint for it, but that defect right there saved me $300 on the purchase of this. So when I did that, I thought, well, I'll take that $300 and get myself a Bird Helix helical carbide tooth head. And I don't need to explain to you what those are used for and why they are awesome. What I see in almost every woodworker's tool shop is the rigid oscillating belt and spindle sander, and this is the model EB4424. It's awesome. And I can also recommend getting one of these. This is an abrasive belt cleaner. It works very well. You put it against that and it makes it look like new. And a lot of times people will, and I did too, would throw away the belts because they would get so loaded up that they were not working as well. And this little gem here, you just drag it along here and it removes 95% of all that buildup and prolongs the life of your belt, and will probably save you all of the $14.69 that you'll spend. Over here is my rigid 12-inch. I've had that for going on 2 years. I really like it, except this thing is the single biggest source of dust in my workshop, and that thing just blows it all over. Had an old dishwasher liner and I kind of cut it up to make a dust shroud. I've got dust collection in the back, and I've got that silly looking plumbing adapter that fits over that perfectly and acts as my gate. This works nicely because on the back of the saw, by default, it has this where it has a bag, and that bag will fill up in about 30 seconds. But what it does do when you go into the cut position, it directs it rearward right at the back, and my dust collector seems to collect a lot more of it. It's still not a dust-free environment, but I do have enough room in here to rotate this, not all the way to 45, but if I pull this out a little bit, I can get there. You'll notice here there's a scroll saw. My wife has invaded my space here, which is okay. She's been watching some of your videos out there, guys, and you've inspired her. So this is an old Delta that my dad had and gave me, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years ago. And I used it occasionally, but I don't give it a big workout. My wife, however, has been in there quite a bit, and she has enjoyed it. It doesn't have a blower. We use this aquarium pump, which works mediocre. We have a little foot pedal for it that my dad had. Next in the proceedings here is this Bosch jigsaw. This is the JS470EB, which is a 7 amp. It's got a lot of features, too many to go into here. It does have dust collection, and I like the barrel handle design. I got that at a wood show in Indianapolis in January. It's got a zero clearance insert, it's got dust collection, it's got lights, it's got this. I got it as a show special for just over $100. My wife, she loves me, obviously. She purchased me a Festool domino. Now these are the dominoes. The domino itself is somewhere else here, but I've been building cabinets. That's some of the projects I've been working on. Cabinets are boring, and there's a million videos out there with guys that do it better than me. A lot of them I see using the Festool domino. It is a big investment, but to me, I've got 18 cabinets, base cabinets to build, and probably 6 or 7 uppers, wall cabinets. It really adds a lot of structure, and it helps satisfy my lust for overkill. The Woodpecker TS24, because of the cabinet sign, I'm making a lot of cuts. I like to check everything to make it square, because square means everything to me. It means the cabinet will go together better, and I'm not going to be fighting to try to keep it or force it into squareness. So this is a Mishitoya dump mic. A lot of those are leftovers from my tool and die life. I think that's about it. So that's a quick and dirty update. I think I covered most of the major things that I've been doing, at least as far as shop updates. We'll promise to do some tool reviews on some of these. I owe you a couple anyways. Those are very helpful. They're helpful for me when I'm looking at stuff. I am by no means an expert. However, my impressions are not too far off from what yours might be, and I'll try to give you some insights as to the goods, the bads, and that's it, guys. So thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.